Today is the day. I've been talking about this for 3 videos now, and I finally decided to go for it and follow my heart. That was the most fun I've had in forever. I forgot how dizzy you get when you roll like that. Man, that was fun. Should we do it again? Alright, bucket list item for everyone. Come out here and roll down a sand dune. So much fun. I wish I had a sled. Definitely got some sand in my mouth. I'm crunching on it. So much fun. Death Valley is literally like 3 million acres of playground. Let me just say to anyone that is planning on visiting a sand dune in their lifetime, bring a sled, a board, or make sure to roll around in it. Because it is truly a joyous experience, and life is too short to worry about what that random tourist who saw you would think of you. And there is a very high probability that you'll never see that person again. So this is your green light to let loose and have some fun. Anyway, the sunrises and sunsets with the ever-increasing clouds were absolutely gorgeous. Every single day I got to experience such beauty, I had to stop recording so much because I was running out of storage for the footage. But here are some of the highlights. I keep on waking up to the most beautiful sunrises. Another pretty one. We are spoiled, huh? Now let me just talk about where I stayed for the week I was in Death Valley for anyone planning on visiting. The park is split up into 2 sections where there are accommodations, Furnace Creek and Stovepipe Wells. If you have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, there's a ton of free camping along dirt roads. But you guys already know that with your super awesome vehicles and freedom. For those with less ideal vehicles, or those who would like a bathroom handy, you could camp in a few different campsites. Furnace Creek has a lot to offer, and if you like options or people, this is the place for you. It is also located very close to a majority of the sights to see in Death Valley, including Badwater Basin, Artist's Palette, and Devil's Golf Course. There are more restaurants, hotels, camping options, and of course, planted palm trees. Thing you need to know though is that gas was marked up way more than the other section of the park. I mean, just look at that. California is cruel with their gas prices. I stayed at Stovepipe Wells. This section has 1 restaurant, 1 store, 1 hotel, 1 gas station, and 1 campsite. And not too many people were there because of the lack of palm trees. Stovepipe Wells is located a convenient 1 mile from the Mesquite Sand Dunes. What's also refreshing was the gas prices at Stovepipe Wells. It was nearly $2 less per gallon than Furnace Creek. Just saying. The park is so big that you're going to eventually need to fill up in the park, so make a mental note of that. Just a quick observation of observing couples traveling together. Seems like the highs are really high and the lows are really low. I've seen couples hugging and watching the sunset and then fighting over who's doing the dishes. Meanwhile, I'm just enjoying myself. I would say the highs are like meh, and the lows are meh. But overall, we're pretty much stable here, so just an observation. The story gets a little bit confusing if you're not me. You see, I was supposed to meet a friend the next day in Yosemite National Park. So I drove out of Death Valley and into town, getting ready to meet up. Upon getting into town and on the internet, I discovered that Yosemite was supposed to get a massive snowstorm. For anyone who doesn't know, snow plus Corolla equals disaster. So I called my friend to change plans. We decided to meet south in Joshua Tree National Park. But while it was supposed to snow up north, it was supposed to rain down south. That is our story today, the incoming storm.
So it's supposed to rain tomorrow here in Death Valley, so the wind is picking up real crazy. Take a look. See all the sand kicking up down there? Woo-wee.
You see, rain in deserts is dangerous because the ground is often so dry and packed together that there is nowhere for the water to penetrate and soak into the earth, especially if it rains hard quickly. As a result, a majority of the water stays on the surface, causing the water to pool and flood in low areas. You can see where this is going. This is what happened this past summer in Death Valley. A rainstorm caused a flash flood, which destroyed many of the roads and created dangerous traveling conditions throughout the park.
I should be scared, right? I should be leaving. Kind of want to stick around and see what happens here. I don't know. It's pretty spooky coming over the mountains.
The whole time I was in Death Valley, the days got progressively cloudier, and the looming feeling of rain grew stronger with each passing day. I tried to ignore it, but the need to stay on high ground started to become a priority for me, because it felt like this wasn't going to be just a little bit of rain, but rather a storm. Later that day, the dark clouds finally rolled in, and I quickly drove up from the base of the valley, where I was camped, to the top of the mountain.
The raindrops are finally starting. This is crazy! Wasn't supposed to rain till tomorrow.
The wind picked up and dark clouds filled the tops of the mountains, and while it was terrifyingly beautiful to witness, I was also filled with anxious dread over what I was in for. You see, while I was in town, I discovered the whole section of the state was going to be getting rain or snow. So no matter where I went in the surrounding areas, I would be experiencing rain in the desert or snow in the mountains. And for the first time since quitting my job, I felt trapped.
You can feel the wind pushing the car. This is crazy. Okay, sorry, I'll stop saying crazy. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be fun sleeping tonight. There were people out there biking before. I hope they got off the roads because this is way too windy. This is at least really entertaining. I don't have service, so I don't really have much in the form of entertainment besides reading. So this is pretty cool, watching a storm come in. Well, I'm feeling a little snacky now. Does anyone else get a little snacky when they get anxious? Start eating everything?
Normally, I would drive to another state to escape weather, like I did leaving Zion in a snowstorm and headed straight to Death Valley. But I knew I couldn't cancel on my friend, who was braving the same weather conditions, so I decided to try to suck it up and stay. I was still acting like a scaredy cat, though.
I'm suddenly very hungry again. I think I might go to a restaurant. I feel so snacky and scared. I don't know, wind just makes me so nervous. It's deceiving because half the sky is like blue and clear and the other half is like dark Armageddon. I don't know. This is gonna be a really strange sunset. It's already looking pretty funky.
But after all that, the weather forecast was correct and it did not start raining until the next day. I was shocked that the rain actually held out, but it did. After barely sleeping that night, I woke up at 5 a.m. to make my way out of the park, and I was glad I did because the rain came. However, the ride to Joshua Tree was not so great. Rain pooled and collected in all the roads, making hydroplaning conditions. And then a series of unfortunate events happened with the Airbnb me and my friend were planning on staying. At the end of it all, I was exhausted, frustrated, and not happy to be in California anymore.
This look pretty accurately sums up the past 24 hours for me.
I'm gonna go shower. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.